There is no doubt that Final Fantasy XIII is a gorgeous game. And this year, it has been 10 years since Final Fantasy XIII came out. I have owned it for years, but I never finished it until now. This game has one of the most memorable intros in gaming history, in my opinion, and was for many one of the biggest disappointments in the Final Fantasy series. The story starts on a train that is taking the sea, or people that might have been in contact with False Sea, to be deported to Pulse. Cocoon wants to get rid of all the Lucy because they are an enemy to Cocoon. The government believes that the Pulse Falsi is giving people magical powers and has been given a goal to destroy Cocoon. The people on the train has been told that they will get deported. What they do not know is that the government has ordered the Psychom elite army to execute everyone that might have been in contact with Pulse Falsi. Just 2 days prior to this event, it was discovered that the bottom landmark was a Pulse Falsi and had cursed the whole village. This is the same village Lightning and her sister Sarah came from. Lightning's sister did get in contact with the Pulse Falsi and became a lessee. The Pulse Falsi also captured Sarah, and Snow, that is her boyfriend, tries to save her. Snow is the leader of a group calling themselves Nora, and they are fighting against the government to save the deportees. After Lightning stopped the train, it motivates civilians of Cocoon to fight back, and one of these fighters is a mother that wants to protect her son. Her son's name is Hope, but something tragic happens, and Hope, witnessing her death, and thinks Snow is responsible for it. Sash just seemed to be involved randomly, following Lightning and fighting with her. He also has a chocobo in his hair. There is also another girl called Vanille, and she is very energetic and interesting. There is also one other hero that will be introduced later called Fang. Fang is from Pulse and she is looking for someone. Could it be one of the heroes? All these heroes are aiming for the same goal in the end, and the journey is long, but I kept wanting to see how it all ended. The combat system in this game has a different system than any other Final Fantasy in the series. You can't control the other members of your party. The only way to have control is to change the different kind of strategy, call it paradigm. There is also the same orbit tree that is in Final Fantasy X. You even get the freedom to mix with other skills later in the game. You don't get experience point in this game, but you get something called Crystarium. The fights are rated, so you will get stars for each fight. I think that the more stars you get, the better items is rewarded. I think this is an interesting way of making the fighting a little bit more addicting. I did for most of the time get top range. It was only the bosses I had issues with. It seems like you need to know the right strategy to get the good ratings in these fights. You can upgrade your weapons in this game. To do this, you need items that you can use at any same spots in the game. The game suffers from the same issue that Final Fantasy X had, that it really feels like you are just running in the corridors through the whole game. At least in Final Fantasy X you had to go to interesting places, but I did not feel like this in this game. There was no places I really wanted to explore. Final Fantasy XIII is a good game if you give it a chance. If you like a good story and look past the first part of the game, that can be very slow, it gets better in the middle of the game, and I think the ending wasn't too bad either. The combat system takes some time to get used to, since you don't have any controls of the other members than the leader. And if the leader dies, it is game over. I did not really like that. The game took me around 40 hours to finish it, but I think it can be getting down to around 35 hours if you don't spend a lot of time on grinding like I did. You can now get Final Fantasy XIII very cheap on platforms like Steam, or if you just look a little bit around, you can even get it cheaper. And if you have not finished this story, I really suggest that you give it a shot. So my final verdict of Final Fantasy XIII is a 9.5 out of 10.